Listening to Family Secrets, page 43. Comprehension, Part 1.
Many years after my father died, I had found a small photograph of a young boy that resembled him enormously in my father's desk, which had remained undisturbed for all those years. The picture was signed Pierre on the back, and I really didn't know what to do with it, even though it looked so much like my father, and he had certainly never mentioned having a child before. I knew he didn't have any other relatives other than us. That was over 10 years ago. When years later my mother got a letter from Romania signed with the name Pierre, which was the same name on the back of the picture, I started to put the pieces together, and I thought perhaps this is someone who's looking to find his lost family. And in fact, after a short exchange of letters between me and this stranger, Pierre, in Bucharest, he finally acknowledged that his father was my father.
So the photograph that you found in the drawer was, in fact, your long-lost half-brother.
That's who it was. The suspicion was right, that he was our long-lost brother or half-brother, living in Bucharest all that time. And then I had never been to Romania, but I had an opportunity to go. Actually, my husband was shooting a documentary there. So I kind of piggybacked and went along, and I met Pierre for the first time. And it was an absolutely extraordinary experience to see him waiting for me at the airport with a little bouquet of flowers, and it was as though I were seeing my father reincarnated standing there, because he resembles him almost identically.
He looks a lot like the photographs of your father in the film.
Yeah, it's really uncanny.
Your father had never told you or your sister anything about a son that he had had in Europe?
No, he was really incredibly successful at keeping this secret from us.
Part 2.
My father was very secretive about the period in his life when he lived in Romania. In fact, he was secretive about the period of his life when he lived in France prior to meeting my mother.
Daddy was a secretive person, and people who had to run from, Gestapo persecution, I think, became secretive as a matter of survival.
Part 3.
So how did you as a filmmaker and as a person go into uncovering these secrets when you have a family legacy and teaching of maybe this is not such a good thing to explore secrets? Was it scary for you? Was it elating for you? Did you have a feeling that you were trespassing on forbidden ground?
Oh, all of those things, actually. But the feeling of trespassing was actually very elating. It was very exciting to get into this territory. I think I used to kind of mull over these things alone and come up with all kinds of images of what things could be and ideas of what things could be. And so actually to open it up and have a real situation where I could uncover these things that were forbidden to me was actually very exciting.
Do you think that there's any relationship between the family secrets and the experience of being lied to?
You can't blame people for lying. I think sometimes they're trying to go for a higher value, like not hurting someone else. But I must say, I think the truth is always best, because eventually it's going to come out. Particularly, people are smart, and children are really smart, and they know something isn't right when something isn't right. I think they know when something's being kept from them, on some level, often nonverbal with children. And so eventually, sometimes the truth doesn't come out, but there's always going to be a hole in your experience, like an emptiness or something that's not right and out of order, if this kind of secret is kept in families.